One person in the couple looks to the other one and says, "What are you most afraid of?" Step 5.2, conversations. Conversations are a place that we can increase the challenge and difficulty in the relationships. Here's our current conversational skill, our current skill in relationships. Here's where we are. This is where our conversations are. You know that I've seen some studies that show like very sad facts that the average couple, like 30-year-old, middle-aged, somewhat couples, they literally have like 40 minutes of quality conversation a week. Most of their conversation is just like logistics. It's all just like, oh yeah, what are you going to do today at 5 p.m.? Yeah, I'll go to this place, then I'll come, it's just boring stuff. They're not even like expanding their consciousness together. The couples who are on track to become like really loving and they understand flow states, what they'll do is they'll realize their skill's really high. So they'll say, okay, well, how can we use our skill? Let's ask each other harder questions. Let's explore the depths of each other's minds because that's super, super interesting. So, and the challenge goes up. And that one answers, and then they ask back, okay, so what are you most afraid of? That one goes up. What's the worst thing that ever happened to you as a child? Now you see, like, we're making the relationship, the conversations a little bit more difficult compared to the mundane, usual conversations that people get into. And suddenly we're at our skill level. And, you can go too far. You can maybe ask a question that's like super triggering or, personal or something. And you maybe aren't that close enough in the relationship to deal with that. And your skill is like, below that. Fair enough. But by asking these deep questions, these random things that you just want to almost pick the brain, like explore the brain of your partner, it makes your experience with them more complex. Now, I must point out, this is not simping. This is not like blue pill or something. In the modern space, it's so weird. You can be speaking about like a wholesome relationship activity and little kids will comment like, oh, simp. How is this anything like simping at all? This is you with a partner that you have chosen, now leveling up the skill of love, which is mutually beneficial. That's awesome. So in these conversations, you can ask deeper questions and then follow the same principles that you know about flow states. Remember, so at first it might feel like a bit of a trudge. It feels kind of like a bit slow, like you're in that waist deep level of snow. After you've asked your partner a deep question, your mind might start to wander. You might get a little bit bored or agitated. You might want to change the topic, but you bring the attention back, just like we did with a task like that we're doing on our computers. We use the exact same flow principles in conversations. So you must know that your mind is going to wander and that for the first 5 or 10 or 20 minutes of the conversation, we're just going to constantly keep bringing it back and, maybe stare at one of their eyes or something to stay focused. Obviously, using good listening skills will help here. Don't just start to like form your response to the question in your mind before they've finished talking. Let them talk. Try your best to absolutely like listen to every like tiny little pitch of their voice. Listen to their voice as if you're going to go deaf tomorrow for life. Every tonality, every way that they express themselves. See the sweetness in that. You can pretend that you've just been deaf for the past 20 years and their voice is the first thing that you hear. Listen to it with that much detail. You wouldn't interrupt. You wouldn't be thinking about what you're going to say next, would you? Now imagine if you do this enough that your partner starts to do this for you. Imagine if your partner listens to you so well that it seems like she literally is like preparing to go deaf and she just wants to hear your tones and speech patterns. Think about the level of relationship you can get to when you just increase the challenge just in the conversations. Your actionable step, and do this right now, is to write down 3 open-ended, deep questions that you can ask anyone that you love. So maybe it's your girlfriend, maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your brother, some kind of like deep question that would help you explore the depths of their mind. I know that I can just give you some ideas, but I'm not going to. I want you to really think about the person who you'd ask this question to and just ask yourself like authentically, what would I actually kind of like to know about them? What don't I know about them already? What's an experience of their life that I would probably find like super interesting to know? Write those 3 questions down and set an intention right here, right now, that you're going to ask one of these questions today. Whether it's in like a video call or it's in person, you're going to ask one of them today to deepen your conversation.